If you take a look at the information that's been given to you in a very short period of time, I'll just recap it real quick. We greet the customer the right way, the prospect, with you, your, and your language versus I, we, and me. They're named twice, followed by a question, affirmation. And setting the agenda, what we refer to as the value of the visit. We're going to look at what you want to have done and need to have done. Remember that part? Followed by executing a needs assessment following an acronym: ACID, arouse, cultivate, information, determine. And if you read in Closing the Sale from Dave Yoho Associates, it basically says in that acronym, if I can sufficiently arouse a customer, I can cultivate information from them to determine how to deal with them. Nowhere in there does it say determine if they're going to buy from me, right? How many of you want to go to an interested customer? All right? How many of you have ever ran a lead and you said to yourself, this sucks? The rest of you liars, get your hands up. All right? That's determining too early. That's a classic example. The job description of an in-home salesperson here is not to be a closer, to be a salesperson. The job description of a in-home salesperson is to make presentations. Like it's the last one you'll ever get and the first one that you ever made, with that type of enthusiasm. That is our job description. If you do that, if we commit to doing that, we sell more automatically. See, the system here is not prejudiced. It's designed to sell everybody. Guess who's prejudiced? You are. We determine who gets it, who doesn't get it, who's going to get some of it, all of it. How many of you ever walked out of a house and said to yourself, I wish I would have just done this and I would have got it? Has that ever happened? Second bit of advice for you. If you do it next time, stop your car, turn around and go try it. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? They say no? Just don't kick the door in. That's called home invasion. That's 3 to 5, I hear. All right? So, but there's nothing wrong with going, you know, I just thought about something when I was pulling out of here that might help our situation. Guess what they might just say to you? You know what? We're glad you're back. I was thinking about something too. Right? We want to drain it on the field every time we're in the home. The first step to do that is you've got to know it. You've got to take your time to learn it. Why do people fight learning it? Because of the statement I made earlier. We're measuring what we know against what somebody's trying to teach us. When I first came into this business, I was fortunate. I was 19 years old and I had a one-armed sales manager, 6'6", he's crazy, and you wanted to be just like him. And he said, Brian, you ain't the sharpest tool in the drawer. Here's your shot. Here's a pitch. You learn this. You have 5 days to learn it. If you learn it, you're going to be successful. If you don't, you're going to be a failure for the rest of your life. And I was dumb enough and smart enough at the same time to believe the man. Then, on 9 leads, no sales, what does Brian Smith think of himself? Failure for the rest of your life. Back to the jackhammer. That's what I was doing before I got into sales. Then my confirmer, John Wise, gave me a good one, and he even told me it was good. Brian, I have a referral from Bill Foote. Bill Foote's on vacation. I told her you're new. She told her you're going to do the entire presentation, but you've been working your tail off. Here's your first sale. And I ran to that lead all excited, gave her the demo of my life. I laid the price on the table and asked her which one of these plans works best for you, and guess what she said? I need to think about it and never make a decision in a day, and that's way too much money. So as I slumped in disbelief, contemplating suicide, I picked up the phone and called John Wise and said, she ain't going along with the program, Mr. Wise. What do I do? Now, I forget what he told me to say, but I said it, and I wrote that deal. Then experienced for the first time the euphoric high of selling a job. You know the one where you're driving through the neighborhood, you don't know where you're at, running over mailboxes, running over squirrels? That was it. On the way back to the office. And I walk into John Wise's office, put the deal on the table. He goes, nice job, kid. Now tell me why you sold it. I said, because it was a referral that knew the price. He goes, nah, I lied to you about that. Huh? I want you to tell me why you sold it. I said, I don't know. He goes, because you finally believed you could. Once you know the pitch, it's a 100% attitude business. We make a decision every day. Are we going to give it, or are we going to choose who's not going to get it? Here's a news flash for you. There ain't one person that sets a lead with your company that ain't interested in what you're offering. Nobody, there might be one person on the planet that has enough time to waste 2 hours of their night on Thursday night for an in-home salesperson to come into their house and talk to them about something. Quit making the decision that the people are not interested or interested. They are interested. They just aren't going to tell you at the front door they want to buy from you. You got to earn that. Make sense? After we complete a company story, and after we have our attitude checked, and after we've done our needs assessment, now we've got to move into product. The product presentation is an educational piece. If your product presentation needs to be constructed to talk about options that the customer has other than yours. Rick talked about post-negative suggestion. Post-negative suggestion is knowing the objections that you're going to have, then building into your presentation a format to get them off the table. What do we know will happen at about 9:30 on a 7 p.m. lead when you roll price? They will say, I need to think about it. I need to shop around. Too much money, never make a decision in a day. Do I have that right so far? Guess what? They didn't take the day off to role play their objections. But I have all day to prepare because I already know what I'm going to hear. Instead of going, I hope I don't hear that tonight. That strategy has never worked. So I want to take and move those things off the table. Here's an example of post-negative suggestion. Right before your product presentation, just say to them, do you realize, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, our customers have told us they are not relying on getting multiple bids anymore. Do you know why? They realize that will not guarantee their satisfaction in the end. Let's face it. When will you know if you've made the right decision on this or not? After it's installed and you're already living with it, and then it's too late, isn't it? Here's what our customers have taught us. They've taught us they're only looking for really 3 basic things. They want to deal with a company that has a proven reputation of customer satisfaction, that offers a product that will solve their problems 100%, and then offer those 2 at a fair and an affordable price. Is that any different than what you're looking for? Guess what ain't coming up later? Bids. We've isolated it to 3 things that we're going to focus on, and that's what we're going to sell, and differentiate myself, my company, from the rest of the competition as the only option to deliver this to them. Why? Because I brought it up and put it out there. How many of you have had the customer tell you, I never make a decision in one day because I did that before and I got ripped off? You ever heard that? Let's get rid of that one. I understand how you feel, and I hear it all the time. However, if you would have invited that same contractor back 2, 3, 7, or 14 times, would it have changed the end result? No. So it's not how you did it or when you did it, it was who you decided to do business with, right? Let me share with you why so many families select us for a project like this over anyone else, and you be the judge. Gone. That's post-negative suggestion. Your company story is post-negative suggestion, so is now your product demo. If we're selling widget A, I want to show them other widgets, but I want to compare the other widgets to their needs and wants as we uncovered under the needs assessment and ask them, does this solve these problems? No. So at any cost, would you consider putting it into your home? Well, let's move that one off the table then. Let's take a look at another option. And by following that system of elimination, you get to your product, and now you better be prepared to deliver. And if you look, and this is just laid out in 23 and 24, the steps, right on how to do it. Now I want to take my product, and I want to show the features of my product, how it solves every single one of the problems that they have, and then gives them all of the benefits that they're looking for. So that now I can ask not only is this the product that you want in your home, now I'm going to layer that question by saying, why would you want this product versus all the other ones that you've seen? When they say it, they believe it. If I say it, they can doubt it. So we get them to feed that back, and we get to isolate. Money is the only thing remaining left to discuss. That's called the PreClose. The PreClose, think of it as a gauge, a thermometer, that's going to transition you to the second presentation that you're going to make. A well-written methodology is really in 2 main parts. Your pre-price presentation and your post-price presentation. So the pre-close now is a question I'm going to ask to see if I have permission to move into post-price presentation. So I'm going to start by recapping. These words will sell you more business, I promise you. Now I will have to preface what I say with this. The power of any idea is measured by the degree of resistance it attracts. What I'm going to share with you is I get a lot of resistance on because people are afraid to use it. None of it's high pressure. They're afraid to use it because it takes time and practice to do it. But if you take the time and the practice to do it, you're going to sell more business. The other thing I want you to write down is, under no circumstances is a positive no as good as a yes. So if you want an affirmation question that ends with a no, it's not as good as getting them to say yes. 2 examples. One way to pre-close is this: other than payment and terms, is there anything else standing in the way of getting started? No. That's called a positive no. Why is it bad? The customer said no. I need to keep them on the yes train the entire time. So I'm going to reverse the way we ask that question. At this point, all of our customers say, Brian, we feel comfortable with your company, we love your product, and if you can make this fit into our budget, we'd like to schedule the work. Is that where we stand? Yes. Same question, asked a different way. Isolating money is the only thing, but it generated a yes response. Do you see the difference? Is that a yes? Is this an English-speaking group? Am I in the right place? Yeah. Okay. So we want to generate questions with the yes. Now turn to page 7. 7 now, by getting that question, the pre-close done, now we have permission to deliver price. We're going to follow a sequence. There's an acronym in this sequence, and I'm going to give it to you. It's SALES, S-A-L-E-S. It stands for silence, affirmation, elimination. Layer, elimination, and solve. Silence, affirmation, layering question, eliminate, and solve. We're going to follow this acronym and walk the customer through their natural buying process. The natural buying process that a customer has is always led with an excuse or some form of procrastination, of which we need to convert to an objection. Objections are the only things that we can conquer. When they give us procrastination or excuses, they are convertible to objections. So here's an excuse or procrastination: just think, shop, sleep, right? Those are excuses. Those are not objections. Now, most sales trainers tell you you need to listen to your customer. You ever heard that? Don't. You need to selectively listen to your customer and hear the things that can help you and ignore the things that will hurt you. In the close, typically we get confrontational because we try to talk about everything they tell us. That's where we need to stop listening. Just, I never make a decision in a day. La, 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 la. Wait for their lips to stop moving and then go to the next step. Okay? So the silence in this is one of the hardest parts to teach. It's a 4 to 6 second pause, dead silence. You say to your customer, which one of these plans works best for you? That's called an alternate choice assumptive close, number 1, and you go to writing paper. Right? There's power with pen to paper. Even if you're paperless, pull out a napkin and draw a stick figure. I don't care. But there's power with pen going to paper. Which one of these plans works best for you? And you start writing. They say they need to think, shop, sleep, whatever it is. You pause for 4 to 6 seconds without saying a word. Now let's see how long that actually is. Brian, we're going to have to think about this. 6. Is that an eternity? I mean, you feel like stabbing yourself in the eye with pencils during that time. And guess what? They're feeling it too. But here's what happens. When a customer comes at you with, I need to think, shop, sleep, right then and there, they're coming at you from left brain, and they're unclosable. The left brain is logic, right brain is emotion. People buy emotionally, right brain weigh those decisions, left brain logically. So when they come at you left brain, they are unclosable. When you pause 4 to 6 seconds, they revert to right brain and become receptive. Now, who wants to role play with me? Don't everybody jump at once. Who wants to role play? All right. Well, you got to come up here because we're being filmed. Thank you. We're going to do the same thing 2 times. What's your name?
I'm Sal.
Sal.
Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you. All right, here's what we're going to do. Stand this way so everybody can see you. I'm just going to ask you which one of these plans works best for you. And I just want you to tell me you need to think about it, and we're going to do it 2 times. All right?
Yep.
Sal, when you do this, which one of these plans works best for you?
I'm going to have to think about it.
Why is that?
I'm really not sure.
How did that feel when I said that to you? Confrontational?
Well, you wanted me to expand upon it, I believe,
Yeah.
right?
Did it feel uncomfortable, though, the way I asked it?
No.
Now, we'll try it this way, and then I'll ask you the same question. Sal, when you do this, which one of these plans works best for you?
I'm going to have to think about it.
I understand. Why is that? Was that confrontational?
It wasn't confrontational. It was a little more putting it upon me to respond to.
Right. The first time it's done, if you don't pause 4 to 6 seconds, you're coming at them left brain, they feel heat. and it becomes a confrontational conversation at that point, no one's going to win. When you pause 4 to 6 seconds, they are more receptive. Thank you, Sal.
Hey, thank you.
All right? That's how, now the first time I saw this happen, I was in Westchester, New York. 22 years old, running with a guy named Richie Asciuto. Richie was deal a day Richie. He was the best. Every day brought a deal. $1 million a year with an average ticket back then was like $4,500. He's doing $1.5 million. Richie had a pair of glasses, and he wore them on the tip of his nose like this during the entire presentation. And they stayed there the whole time. Richie says to the customer, which one of these plans works best for you? And the man said, Mr. Asciuto, we're going to have to think about it. He reached up for the first time, pulled those glasses off, laid them on the table and stared at the guy and didn't say a word. The man said, what do you think, honey? And she said, I think we ought to do it. And he looked at the guy, put his glasses back on, kept right in the man, I went and bought me a pair of them glasses, right? I knew. But see, all that was is what Richie did for the 4 to 6 seconds in order to do it, because 9 out of 10 times, the customer will keep talking. So here's some tips for closing. Silence, affirm, layer, eliminate. Customer says, I need to think about it. Discipline yourself to pause for 4 to 6 seconds. Then lean back in your chair and smile and say 2 words, I understand, followed by, why is that? Then no matter what they say, they can say they only buy from the Amish during an odd week of an odd year during a full moon if there's Bud Light available that night in the dry county. No matter what they say, you respond with, other than that, is there anything else standing in the way of getting started with this project right now? See, right now is a lot quicker than today. Today's 24 hours long. Right now is right now, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Is there any, other than that, is there anything else standing in the way of getting started with that project right now? And then you solve. Now here's how important the pre-close is. I asked them in the pre-close, if it's affordable, can we do it? They said yes. So now I'm going to start solving it by re-isolating money to go into my close. Just to clarify, this is called the Is It Isolator close. There's 18 go-tos that we use. We embed them in the presentation as we go through. In case, if we have to use them in the end, we will, but it's really a sequence that we're going to walk them through here and to make it easy for them to buy. So now I'm going to solve it. Just to clarify my thinking, you did say you felt comfortable with our company. Do you still feel that way? As you're packing your stuff up. And as far as in terms of our product, is this still a product that you want to have in your home? Yeah. So, and then right before I calculated the total investment, you did say affordability would be the only thing standing in the way. So is it the deposit, the monthly investment, or the total that's standing in the way? We have to keep them focused on money. If I'm talking about odd months, odd years, full moons, Amish people, I'm not in control of the situation. What we are in control of is they said affordability is the only thing. They saw our price, they didn't throw us out of the house. They want it. They want it. So now I'm going to make it easy for them to buy by working on making sure the number has the value. And it's not about discounts. It's about building value. From here, there's a close in here. It's on the next page over. It's called the total offer concept. Total offer concept gives you a chance to rebuild value before you offer them any incentive to do business with you today by placing a value on all the things they said that was important to them. So we would say to them, I understand that you want to make sure you're getting the best value for your dollar, am I right? And you do understand you can go into the marketplace and get other products for less. We've looked at all of them. But there are reasons why that is. For example, this widget all does this for you. You explain those benefits back to them and put a price on it. This one represents 3%, this one represents 5%, or this one represents 6%. Would you want to take any of those out to save money? Because the second that you do, it's no longer the product you said you wanted. And you spent an awful lot of time convincing me that this is exactly what you want to have. Doesn't it make sense to spend a little bit more than what you thought it was going to be to get exactly what you need, than not spend enough and settle for something that's not going to do what it's supposed to do? That's the bigger waste of money, right? So if I can make this fit more comfortably into your budget, we would want to go ahead with it, correct? That's controlling it and keeping it on money, and is any of that come across as high pressure? No, not when it's delivered correctly. The system works if you allow it to. You got to give it time to get into your blood, you got to practice it, and I'm going to end this with this. Then we're going to take some questions from you. Discipline is a trait that most in-home salespeople do not have. were impetuous. As a matter of fact, for the first 10 years of my career with Dave Yoho, he called me impetuous about 3 times a day, and I thought it was a compliment. Until I looked it up in the dictionary, and I was like, what are you calling me impetuous for? Because I am. So we want it yesterday, we got to put the time in. This is every deal that you sell, you're taking an easy one off the marketplace. You have to increase your skills to get the next one. Our business is about co-communication with the prospect and following a system and never wavering from it. That doesn't take away from your personal style, but you have to put your personal style over here to learn the system first before you can plug the two in. I can't coach style, I can coach system. Make sense?